Hey everyone, I just wanted to pop in here and say I know this video is kind of late. I did have a family emergency, so this took a little bit longer than usual. Thank you for the continued support, and please enjoy the video. Thank you. These videos are made for adult collectors, because if you're a child who can afford to buy these, your parents must have a lot of money. Go ask your parents how they feel about adult adoption. Asking for a friend. I am the friend. Okay, today we'll be taking a look at FansToys Berserk, their take on Blitzwing. I actually stopped the camera because I forgot something. Let's take a look at the box. You got nice artwork of Blitzwing in both of his modes. Sorry, Berserk. Berserk on the side. Berserk on the other side. I don't want to knock him over, but so everything's gonna be done at an angle. His jet, which is actually really cool, and his tank, which is also pretty cool. Here's the back. He does all these cool things and tricks and QR code, and there is his bio. If you want to read it, pause now. I'm not reading this because no. So when you first take Blitzwing out of the box, this is kind of what he looks like. So you do need to do a little bit of transformer surgery. His little legs, they just move little legs. But anyways, this fin, just gotta move this back a little, kind of like that on that double hinge. Move it back, move it forward on that hinge. Then you got that. Then for his backpack, you're gonna have to untab these. They go into two slots. There's a little tab and a slot. See if you can see that right in there. And then they kind of clip over that. And then you raise it up and over. Same on this side, out, up and over. And then you can untab this whole tank section. So you just grab this, go there. And then you'll see this spot right here. You got to be careful because this is like a little pin. So like when doing this, you kind of have to like be careful. And then you're going to swing this turret piece all the way over. I grab it by that little nub there to switch it out and over. Also, I don't know. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. There we go. It has molding detail inside the turret. That's so cool. I would just wish it came with a football because, you know, that one scene in Triple Takeover. Anyways, plug everything back together. Plug these down. And they go into those tabs and slots like I showed you. However, these little tread pieces have to go over that little hinge there. Kind of like that to make it all work. And they go into that tab and into that slot, and then they sit very nicely. Same thing on this side, down over that hump, and then tabbed in. Gotta double check. Funny story, I thought this was wrong. Turns out it matches the model. Another thing I did too, that you are going to need a screwdriver for, are these legs. Let me see if I can show it here. So there's two little hinges, right? There's this right here, which is the top ratchet joint, and then there's this little kind of smaller hinge part. So if you take yours out of the box and it doesn't go by like the ratchet, and these are too loose because he could not stand. Basically what you do is you untab the leg here. You pinch your finger at the thigh because that hurt. Open this up a little bit. And that screw right there, take a screwdriver, you go boop, and then you just turn a little bit until desired. And then just basically till you feel like it's tight enough. And that's Blitzwing out of the box. So I was trying to get this this piece out to show you. I'll do a screen grab here that I found in my impressions video where it was in the box. This fell off. I'll figure out where it goes. It goes right here. There's one on each. There's one on each side. It's that little. It's basically just this little cutout section right here. It goes right there. Okay. As for his accessories, I don't know the best way to show these, but he comes with 3 of these. Oh man, yeah, it's really hard. 3 of these visors. I'll pick the other one up in a second. I can't tell a difference. I really I seriously can't tell a difference between any of these. Let me see if I can get all 3 of them in a frame here. Kind of. Yeah, I can't tell a difference. If someone can, good for you. I cannot. And I just lost one. It went under the table. Found it. Okay. He comes with a screaming face, a smirk face that I probably should have put on during the intro because that would have made sense, and then a grr face. He comes with his turret back head that he has in some animation shots and some that he doesn't. Comes with his gun, really nice painted purple like everything else. Comes with a finger guard for it, or maybe that was just supposed to be a trigger and that's like a little bit of extra plastic. I don't know. His gun and a sword. Both of these go into tab slot hand masterpiece style. If you've done one, you've done it all. Transparent purple. I don't have a problem with that. I think that just makes sense. I can't remember what it was in the show, but you know, there it is. Now for his face, I'm gonna use a spudger to get in here and to get in. Oh, and to get in and to. Why is this hard? Do I even need a spudger? I don't know. No. Why can't I do this? Why is this so hard? Oh my gosh. This is gonna fling out so fast. There it went. And there went his eyes somewhere. I lost his eyes. Maybe that's what the plastic bag was for, with their eyes, because he has so many of them. Found it. Found it. We're good. Found it. And yeah, maybe that makes sense. Anyways, his face goes on to those 2 posts there, and which are going to be those 2 ones. Those top ones are for the red visors. So if you lose one, they kind of just swap in. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be losing these red visors. They just swap in, kind of like that, or kind of like this, not that. I know words. You get the point. I'm just gonna put on the old back face. Okay, that was not fun. I am never changing faces again. Anyway, we're gonna change out the back for this piece. So I'm going to undo his backpack here. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do it on his backpack. I don't think I need to. Here's my spudger. Here's my spudger. We're gonna go in from the top here. Hopefully, maybe. Oh, there's a little cutout out there. There's a little cutout at the bottom of the crest to stick something in there. Maybe, possibly. Why is this so hard? Why doesn't this toy like me? Oh, did I just break? No, I didn't break the spudger. I thought I did. There it is. Whew. Greatest of ease. 2 posts. Two tabs in there, and I actually want this one, so we're gonna put it in with some greatest of ease. Why is this? Oh, huh. Okay, there we go. Gotta slide it down first. That Sure, we're gonna pretend like that makes sense. And now he has double barrels. For articulation, his hands can go up about that far, back about that far. He has a bicep swivel. So, okay, one complaint time. These are weird. Yeah, they're a little far from the chest, but they don't like tab in very well. They're kind of like held in by this little slot here and those tabs. So they do kind of come undone sometimes, but it's okay. Anyways, bicep swivel, very stiff, double jointed elbow, but it gets you, I don't know what you would call that. It's over 90 degrees, probably 100 degrees. Sure, it's 100 degrees. Wrists, rotate all the way around. Fingers, individually articulated at pin and pin. Thumb, typical pin ball joint. If you've handled one FansToys product, you've handled them all except for the Autobot cars. I think they're the only ones that are different. Oh yeah, and his wrist does go in and out. I almost forgot about that, which is kind of cool. Oh my god, these are so stiff. Why are they so stiff? Fold your damn hands in. Okay, there we go. To get the sword pointing thing that you saw in the opening shot, I did cheat it by opening this panel and moving his hand down a little bit. It kind of sort of works. It's iffy. And they go out all the way. It's pretty nice. Head can rotate kind of. It does hit the back of the turret, so it is like kind of limited. You'd have to move the turret out of the way to get it. It goes up that far, which is pretty nice. Down enough. Take it how you will. I mean, that's perspective. I think this is fine because, like, if you were actually looking, you know, that's a pretty good far distance down. He has a waist swivel, kind of. It's blocked by this backpack crap. He has an ab crunch. It's there. Sure. For the legs, I'm gonna move the hip skirts out of the way. It's out all the way. Back only a little bit because it's hindered by that hip skirt actually. Goes out all the way. Upper thigh movement, which is nice. And double jointed knee kind of, but it's so weird that you have to move the top part more first before you move the bottom part, and then the bottom part basically just helps it get 90 degrees. Sure, kind of limited. It's kind of irritating, but whatever. For the feet, toe down, toe up a little bit. If you want the transformation hinge, which is right here, if you kind of grab the heel, you can fake it more to get for certain poses. It works. Stability is okay, and it does tilt. Tilts very nicely, actually. How far does it go? It actually goes pretty far. It goes about that far. Mine, it's very stiff. I will say that. As compared to the cartoon, here he is next to his cartoon image, and it looks really good. It looks really nice. I can't complain. I love the way that it looks. For size comparison, here he is next to triple changer guy, Astro Chain. Pretty decent, actually. They're almost the same size. They're pretty close. He's a bit taller. And here he is next to Triple Takeover episode mate. Okay, Takara, your ankles, garbage. Anyways, Triple Takeover mate, Stock Wave. What? Why did that come out? Starscream. I don't know why that came out of my mouth. Pretty decent. Comes out to his chest part, kind of where like it concaves in. Here's the sunbow chart. I haven't looked at it yet, so I don't know if this works or not, but sure. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, for transformation, I'm gonna leave the second head in that has the double barrel because haven't seen anybody show it, but I believe it does transform correctly with this. I actually haven't tried it myself. This will be the first time I try it with this. So if its head changes halfway through the editing, you know why. Also, I don't have any stickers that go here, so I haven't put any stickers on him yet. All right, so first things first, as always, hands go into the masterpiece. I'm storing hands. You want to flip this down. It goes down on that hinge. Little tab there to a little slot there. Same thing for the other side. Oop, make sure the hands are straightened out. Same thing on this side. Hands are straightened out. I will tell you about some paint chipping. This is my fault because I'm dumb and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and I turned the arm a little bit when trying to do something. This wasn't because of transformation. This was just me being dumb. So there's that. We're gonna turn them around. I'm gonna unpeg these gray sections from here and here. Oop. And then you gotta get, I know it's hard to see, but there's like a little like gray tread right here that my finger's touching. It's gotta go over this part. So do that, out, over, and turn. It turns on this and it hinges up and down on that item. Don't know what to really call it. It's part of a tread. Same thing for the other side. Then you grab basically this whole tank section, grab it. It pegs in at a couple places. It pegs in on this tab and this tab to this slot and this slot. And it's hard to tell, but there's a little tab there that tabs into this slot for the tank as well. Then you got to move this section down. It's a little scary because of how thin it is. You get it there. We're going to go into jet mode, so we're going to fold this up, and then we're going to turn the head around, full 360. Open this side up first. Open this side up, and fold the head down. It does not fit. Darn it. I thought it did. So now we got to change that out. That would have been cool if it fitted, but it didn't. Anyways, fold the head down. Put this side down first. Put this side down second. It'll clip in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this here. It just swivels on that tiny little kind of pin there, so be very careful. And then you're going to fold everything back up kind of the way it was. So fold this up and over. It is on a double hinge, so just make sure it folds up on this part, and then collapse everything like that. And you do want, I'm going to show it here, you do want it leveled. So if it isn't leveled, it's probably this piece sticking up a little bit. You just need to accordion it down. Okay, what's next? We're going to get these sections out of the way. So actually, you want this down. We're gonna move this down again, kind of reversing what we just did, because you want this space open to move these over. It gives you a little bit of room. Flip these sections down, move this section out, it pegs in on these tabs to that slot. It sounds weird, but it does go over kind of like that. Anyways, so turn these items down on this slide over. Just, you can do them all the way around just to get them out of the way. And then you're gonna move this whole section out and over. kind of like that. And it's gonna sound like you're gonna break it. You're not, but you do want it to look like this. Fold it over. Same on this side. Take the whole gray section. And it does tab in through this tab to there and that tab to there. That's what holds it all in place. Move this whole section down again. Move this all the way around, having that purple face you. And then flip this manila piece, whatever color this is, and then move it all the way over again. It sounds like you're gonna break it, but you're not. You're just getting it over this tab. It's a little tricky, but you end up getting used to it. Close that, and now you can close all this back up. Let me show you. Boop, there, and then there. Now, we go over to this side. So, we're going to lay him down, actually. And let me bring the camera down a little. That's about, yeah. So, we're gonna work on the legs because basically the whole jet is within the legs. So, this little tab here is gonna go out like that. This tab's in with the little slot and a little tab right there, as well as a little tab and slot. There's that tab with that slot there. Then you're gonna go on to the other side. And this piece is just going to, well, you have to lift this little tab up. And then kind of this whole section is gonna go up kind of like this. Okay. Then you get to lift this whole thing up. It's going to accordion up and out and over. And then this little double hinge piece, you kind of want to bring it forward to where it's sitting like that. You can have it all kind of fitting like this. Now, this toe, it's on a double hinge. You're gonna put the first one, top one, out and over, kind of like that. And then the second one is going to go in. And what's really cool is that the toe fills in the rest of the booster, which is nice. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna flip this piece over like that. And then you're going to flip this piece up kind of like that. Then you're going to move this section down, kind of like that. And you're gonna move this whole tail fin over like that. And then you can move this foot on that hinge, kind of like what I was showing you to get more toe tilt. Straighten it out and over. Now it's gonna look something like this. You want this whole section right here to come forward like that. And you're gonna have to finagle it a little bit just to get this piece kind of over it. Oop. Oh, was that in focus? I don't think that was in focus. Oh no. I don't think that was in focus. Anyways, this piece is gonna go over, and then this fin section is gonna go back over and on top, and it's gonna sit like that. Make sure this is forward like this. And then, let me see, what's the best way to do this? Okay, this whole section right here is gonna unfold down on, Blitzwing, you're not making this easy. On this section right here, kind of like this. And then this little slit right here is gonna fold this way on this hinge right here, kind of like that, kind of like that. Oh my God, why is it not? There we go. Boop. Kind of like that. Make sure that this is all straight, including this little purple piece, to go up and over like that. And it's just gonna sit like this. Kind of like that, and we're just gonna have it kind of sit for now. Okay, so for the leg, this is really difficult. You're gonna take this whole section, move it out on this hinge, kind of like that. Then you're gonna rotate, it like this, and then rotate this purple piece slightly out, just to get this flap out, like that. And then you can rotate the whole thing around. So it's like this. And then you can rotate the purple piece out. You can have it like this. You are gonna wanna like split it. There we go, split it at that purple piece to get this white piece out there, and then fold it around. On this side though, you are gonna wanna flip out the landing gear here, because if you don't, it does not come out. If you don't do this, this landing gear is basically just stuck in there, and then that's it. And you're pretty much done. However, I did just forget, you do need to move these thighs inward slightly. That's it. This is very hard the first time you do it, by the way. And then we're gonna leave it kind of like this for now. Now to the other side, we're gonna do the same thing. Go around, unclip this tab right here. Make sure that that little tab is kind of removed. It is kind of difficult, but there, like that. I forgot you gotta fold this piece in. It kind of does it on its own anyway, but if it didn't, that's where it is. Oh, detail, that's cool. Never noticed that before. That's cool. Same thing on this side. Move this out and over. You don't have to worry about the little tab thing because that's only on this side. Flip it up, accordion everything out. Flip that over, flip this down, flip this piece around, move the ankle up on that joint, flip this around, move the tail around, do the foot on the top hinge, what is this giving me? There we go, on the top hinge, then on the bottom hinge, go throughout. I'll leave it like that. On this side, move this piece over, straighten it out, then move this piece down, like that, all the way over. Make sure that this is all straight. Then you move that piece down and around, close it up, and then kind of have everything back like that. Do the thigh because you just forgot to. Push it in, you'll hear a click, it's loud. Fold this back. And as long as you're not like moving things around, the paint should not scuff. Anyways, move this whole piece out, tilt it up, tilt the purple piece down so you can get this little flap out like that. Rotate everything around so it's like flush like that. Move this up, break this in half, break it in half, oh my god, break it in half. Move this piece up and over, and then close it, and then move it down. Actually, I also forgot a step too, and a lot of people did. There's this little purple piece right here. Flip it down. It's gonna fill in that bottom gap there in plane mode. Same thing for this side, little purple piece down. Now, I kind of just have everything folded out like this for now. We're gonna move these gray pieces out of our way, and then we're going to move the legs kind of around at this point. And this is really tricky. We're gonna have to move this over, but we're gonna have to get this section under this so that slot tabs into there. And it's a little tricky, and it's kind of hard to show. Basically get everything straight to move this over slightly. And then you're gonna wanna have to try to get, it's really hard to show. There's a little purple, that little purple tab has gotta go in between this. So like I tilt it up a little bit to get it as close as possible. So this purple will be sitting over kind of the whole cockpit. And then you just, unfortunately, gotta like push it in. It's such a pain. Let's move this over, get it out. It's just, it's a little finicky, but if you move this out as you're closing it, you're able to get it through. Put these thrusters all the way up so you don't scrape the back of this. And then you can kind of just have it sit there for right now. Do the same on this side. So straighten out everything, tilt this out slightly, move this over, and as you're, tilt this up now, and as you're flipping this piece over, pull this back slightly so it gets more room, and then close everything, and then you're gonna have it sit, because this slot is gonna go in between the little arm like that. Make sure this tab is up. These little tabs are gonna go under eventually. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start closing everything up. Start at the nose. Make sure that underneath is pretty good. Close. And then this is where you're gonna close these and kind of push them down a little, where you're gonna see them cover up the little tabs there. Boop, kind of like that. Making sure that these slot in correctly there on both sides there. Okay, now for the arms. This is the hardest part, honestly, and this took me so long to do. There's a little slot right, I don't know, it's so hard to show. There's a little slot, there's two of them. The top one is for jet and the bottom one is for tank, and I'll show the difference between that when we get into tank mode. But it goes into that slot there. So you kind of just have to finagle it. It is super hard, super annoying. I've had such issues with this not lining up correctly, and it's just so hard. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just tons of force. Same thing with this side. Oop. I've always had an easier time with this side because now it's, you can't see it, but it is tabbed in. It doesn't look like it. I also forgot to mention, you do want to clip this top part in. So now that that's good, we're gonna come to the back here. You're gonna flip this manila piece down, and these jets, they have little slots there that are going to go over these tabs, kind of like that. And basically, it's really hard, but you have to like push these and this and that tab down, and it will go over and sit flush like that. Now, for these parts, what we're gonna do is, so you're gonna flip these little gray sections out like that, and then you're gonna fold these over. They're gonna, these tabs are gonna go into those slots, and you wanna fold it at this top part hinge and then at that bottom hinge. You're also gonna wanna, this is on a slider too. Oh, this is not good, I can't go back. This piece is on a slider. You do wanna have it slid in, and then you wanna hold it. It's so hard to tell, but basically it is gonna end up like this. And then that tab or that slot is gonna go onto that tab like this. And then you're gonna move this whole section up, and it's gonna tab in that slot, or that tab to that slot, that tab to that slot, and that teeny tiny tab to that teeny tiny slot right there. And then you fold it up, close it all in, and that helps cement kind of like the whole thing in place as well. It takes a second. Sometimes you have to come over here and to get this. And then this goes back to kind of where it was. And it should tab by a little slot and a little tab in there as well. Kind of holding everything into place. And the fin goes down and this tabs into that slot, also cementing everything in place. It's a little finicky, but it does get there. It does get there. Same thing on this side. Fold this out, slide this down like that. And then this is just gonna accordion in to get those tabs into that slot. It slid out to where it's gonna be flat. That slot to that tab. All, can't see. Oops. All these tabs to those slots that I mentioned before. That. Fold this over to help lock it in place. When you get things secured. Boop. And then this is gonna slot back in. Boop. Then for these pieces right here, actually we're gonna have to undo that, sorry. These little pieces right here, they're on a slider. They slide this way, so they slide out. It's very scary. I'm gonna have to undo the whole wing because I'm dumb. I am so sorry. Hold on. You're gonna have to undo the entire wing. Just kidding, don't do this yet. You have to do this part first. So, it goes all the way out, you'll hear a click. Be very timid because it is on a little slider. It's hard to show, but it is on a tiny, tiny, tiny slider. And it gives you just barely, like barely enough clearance to flip that out. And then it slides back in. And then everything tabs up like I showed you before. Same thing with that, just closes. Other side. Untab everything because you are a reviewer and you definitely have done this 1,000 times. Slide this out. Be very scared about it every single time. Let it slide out all the way and just barely clear it. And then slide back in, be scared about it, and then close, tab, tab, and then tab. And then that is the back. These go over a little bit. They do sit, or they are supposed to sit kind of behind this. I don't know, man. I've had issues with that. So basically what I've been doing is I kind of just have them go over to where they meet them and kind of just go over just a tab to kind of simulate that. And then for the landing gear, there are up here and right here. You flip them back. They are rolling, which is nice. But yeah, but see what I'm talking about? Here, if you don't move this, this does not go up or down. So basically it's down. But there's the airplane mode and it looks very cartoon accurate. Very, very, very cartoon accurate. The cockpit is supposed to open here, but just due to the way that this is, it doesn't really work. But there he is in plane mode, which is nice. Okay, and here he is next to a seeker mold. Pretty sure it's like loosely based off of that plane before like it was supposed to change, you know, to fit the tank and everything. I don't know, man. Pretty oops, can't see him by the way that I'm holding him. Pretty good. I like the size of it. I really do. I like the size of it, and I do like the feel of it. Yeah, it feels clumsy at first, but like once when everything's like tabbed in, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice jet. I can't complain because this looks like the Toon model. Okay, now to get him into tank mode. We're gonna rip the whole thing apart, basically. So let's start taking all of our hard work apart. Untabbing things, moving things out, move these back to where they were. And on the scary sliders, that's like the worst part of the transformation for me, honestly. Tab, 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 move, slide the scary slider, slide the scary slider, move that back, move that back, move that back, hold these, well, untab these, flail them out, fold that back. Same thing on the other side, sit here, untab this, fold this back. Untab the arms. Actually move them pretty far away. Let's get this whole section out. So for this, you can either get a spudger and put that down, or just move one of these jets. It pops right up. So undo that. Undo this. Move this piece first. I need a spudger actually. You're gonna have to get under here and like pry these up just a bit. Kind of like that. And then you're gonna wanna untab everything. Sorry, you're not seeing what I'm doing. I'm basically just splitting this apart. That's it. Boop. So the whole thing is split apart. Yeah, because we're gonna have to move these up. And it's kind of like the reverse of like how you got them in. You're gonna have to finagle this. There's no good way to show you. Same thing with this side. You kind of just have to go up on that little bar and move this at kind of like the same time. It's real hard to like show and to demonstrate this part, but basically that. Now, here's where flip this landing gear back up, kind of where you had it for robot mode. You're gonna untab these, move this down, close, same thing for over here, untab, move around, close. I'm gonna move just this purple piece back, fold that down, move this purple piece back, fold that down. So we're gonna have something like this again. And then tab it together. Come under here, make sure that these are tabbed together as best you can. We're gonna move the legs up and over for this part, because this is gonna be hard to show. So these little sections right here, this is gonna come out and fold along his thigh. So you're gonna need a spudger, and you're gonna have to get at this top piece, kind of like that. And then you're gonna have to get at this piece right here, kind of like that. And you are gonna have to go back to there to where it can like slide out and around and then straighten out to where it's basically like that. You want it like this. If it's too far out, it'll rub against these thighs, and we don't want that. Same for the other side. Go in here to get this. I know this is so hard to show. Right here, out to to where it's basically like that. You're gonna have to go up here to finagle that piece out so it can go down. And then accordion this down, fold it over towards like that. And then as you can see here, this whole section can just slide up, kind of like that. So it's gonna slide up, where that manila color is gonna look like that. Same thing for the other side. It's like that, then you move it to it's like that. So now you're gonna have to put the legs back, like how we did them in jet mode, where you have this whole thing that's straight, cock it out a bit, move that tab over to where it's going to fit. Hold on. Ah, this is so hard to show. Yeah, here, let's do the other side. Yeah, let me do that side because this side's easier to kind of demonstrate on. So whole thing out, over, and as you can see, that little, so hard. That little purple piece is gonna go over that groove there again, kind of like that. And then the other foot blocks your camera to where you're kind of just folding and pulling, and it goes out. And then it's gonna fit over the arm again like it did last time. But we're not really ready for that. Well, kind of. Just have it sit there. Make sure everything is straight, like that is straight, so it can kind of just rest, because we don't want to like force anything right now. Same thing for this side. Make sure everything is straight. Move that, tuck that down, and then move that over while moving this. And there we go. Now, close that. That's why it went so smooth. All right. And then this is where we're gonna have to straighten out everything and move things over the arms like you just did in jet mode. Basically, everything is the same as jet mode. Or this point anyway is. So it's just finagling things into place. Go. Make sure this tab is up. Boop, 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 boop. Again, finagle that down. There we go. Finagle it down. Make sure those little tabs go over that. Collapse everything. Tab, tab, tab. Tab, tab, tab. Close. Now, like how I was talking about in... Something wrong here? Did the thighs move? No, thighs did not move. Why is this not wanting to stay tabbed? There we go. Oh, that weird. Whatever. Anyway, so, oh, see, got to bring that up now. So, like how I was showing you in jet mode, how these have two tabs. We're going into that bottom tab there, into that slot there. Again, it is a very difficult thing to show, but I will try my best. Make sure that this is slid all the way up too. Ah, damn it. Why are you so frustrating? Okay. Make sure these are all pushed up. We're gonna trying to get this here. All right, so to that bottom tab, like I showed before. Again, it's just tricky, and it's kind of just like lining things up to just go in. Gosh dang it. Okay, there it went. Whew. I know this is probably not on camera, and I'm sorry. I'm trying my best, but it is just difficult. And it's the bottom tab, and it's just trying to just get it lined up. Once when you do get it kind of lined up, it just kind of just sits into place. It does work nicely when you do get it there. And then just make sure everything is all tabbed and looking nice. Now, just like the jet before, flip that yellow piece up. These jets are going into those little slots there, like that we did before. Kind of gotta squeeze them to get that piece over to where it's flat. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on these kind of. So you wanna move these over kind of like that on that hinge. And these are double hinged. So you're gonna move them first on the top one where the manila is connected to the purple. Kind of get it all the way down, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna kind of feed it through the slit in the arm. And it is a little tricky. Yeah. Whew. Get out of my way. There we go. See how it like goes down like that? And then push it down. And then you're gonna move this up and around through those purple tabs, like that. Same thing for the other side. Move it on that hinge, down on this hinge, and then circling around to get it through, push down, and then move this over past those purple points right there. Your arms came undone, so then you just sit here and you close them. Make sure that they're closed. They do pop out. Well, this one actually pops, just this one pops out for me quite a lot. Why? I don't know. But I mean, once when it gets in there usually pretty nicely. There we go. So for these, you're gonna want these treads down, and then you want them stretched out like that. Fold it down on the slider, and then that tab is going to go into that slot, and they're going to hold it there. This may come undone, this may not. Mileage may vary. So, you know, same thing on this side. Make sure everything is flat out. You want to accordion this in. It is very hard to show. See, you want it, not accordion, sorry, you want it slid in. Kind of like that. And then you're matching that tab to that slot. Like that. And then everything is pretty golden for there. Now for these, you're going to move this gray piece up. Well, I'm going to show you, but you're going to move this out as well. So move that out, move this gray up. That tab is going to go into that slot. So it's going to go kind of like this while this is getting closed. This can take some finagling here. So be careful. See, it'll fold in like that. But once when it's like in there, whoops, it stays in there. It's just getting it in there in the first part. A little tricky sometimes. Damn you. Come on, get in. Get in. There we go. There we go. It went in. Same thing for this side. Over here. Fold this out, that, and then it's going to go into that slot while this just connects together. And then it's just kind of just lining it up and just pushing and praying and hoping. And that one went in so much easier. Oh my God, why can't you do that? Anyways, now we're going to come into these wings here. So you're going to tab them like we did for the airplane, which is that tab, or sorry, that tab, that slot, that tab, that slot. Boop, boop, up like that. And then you're going to split it at this seam here. Sometimes it's going to get on tab. It's fine. Just tap it back. I said tap it back. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to move this piece over and down, kind of at that angle. And then you're going to rotate this. And then it's going to rotate like that. If it gets stuck, move this purple piece over to get to here. And it's just sit there. And then you're going to move this piece back, kind of like that. Now, so this, we're going to fold out all the way and rotate this up. There's a little slot here that's going to go into that tab there. So when you're rotating this around, you just aim for that slot in and just push to make sure that matches up. Then this little tab, that tab went into that slot there just to hold things in. You don't have to have it out. And then you're basically going to push everything in. That tab is going to go into that slot there, like that. You're going to have to get your thumb in here to kind of hold it, to push it in together. It's a little finicky, but once when it's in there, it's in there. And then hold this to go. And then that purple piece is just going to sit into there to hold everything a little better, and then everything gets tabbed. So it's a little hard. Your background falls, but you're going to ignore it. There we go. It's going to look something like that. And then you're going to fold that over. Now for the other side. We're going to split this right there. So it's going to go over those tabs that I showed you in jet mode. That was not straight enough. Boop, 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 boop. And then tilt this all the way over. Tilt this all the way around. Boop. Fold this back towards straight. Fold this out. Again, that slot is going to go into that tab. So when you rotate this all the way around, it's just going to go around, fit, push tab just to make sure. And then you're going to go everything in. That little tab is going to go into that slot. And you're going to need to use your fingies to kind of just guide it in and force it close. It is very hard to show on camera, and I'm trying my hardest. Come on, you bastard. You just go in, just right there, just that little purple piece. Oh, probably helps to make sure that that's straight. And it does, look at that. Then that purple piece is gonna go in there, kind of logging everything in. Fold the landing gear from the plane down on each side. Take this whole tank section, move it up. You're going to untab this piece, and then that tab is going to go into that slot. This does sometimes untab the back pieces. Oh, it did not. Cool. Sometimes these can tab, you just have to tap them back. Then you're going to move these out, move these out. This is going to accordion that tab and then out. Flip these purple pieces in, unless you want them out. I mean, your toy, your choice. Flip these pieces out. And then these are gonna go over with these tabs to that slot. That. And you're gonna move this cannon out like so. No, you can't really see what I'm doing here. But I'm just moving it out. And then this cannon is on this little slider. You can see the silver piece there. Pull it out. Oh, it clicked into place. This was a little scary at first, the first time I did it. You just kind of have to just pull a little bit and you'll hear a soft click. Oh, that came undone. Put that back. And then now these tabs are gonna go, or these slots are gonna go into these tabs. And that's about it. And there is tank mode. I do have a little issue with this. And I'm going to preface this as a design choice, because maybe this would have hindered the engineering. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to move this down. Move that down. It's an important step. There's no wheels. This doesn't roll. Okay, I get it. It's a collector's piece. It's not really meant to be a toy. You're really not supposed to play with it and whatever. I want it to roll. I don't like that it does not have wheels. It is really kind of irritating. But the tank does roll, or does rotate. It rests. It doesn't really, mine doesn't tab in. I don't know if it's because I don't think I'm doing something wrong. But because of the way that it is, those little tabs don't move into any slots because there's no slots to really go into, so it just sits. But at least it rotates, so that's kind of nice. And the turret does go up and down. You know, I forgot to do weapon storage in airplane mode. My fault. Sorry. But these should tab into here as well. For these slots. Oops. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. But these little pieces actually go up as well. Kind of like that. So you can have working stuff. So hold it all the way down and you can have it go there. Have it as like a little turret tank thing, which is cool. I kind of like that. Have it as like a little turret gun. That's nice. For size comparison, I have Starscream still here. Here it is next to a jet. Sure, why not? I forgot Blue Streak. Hold on. Okay, I have Blue Streak back. Car next to a tank. Sure, why not? I don't know. Okay, that works. Some people don't like this cockpit thing. I get it because it's not real tank. Tank don't have cockpit here. It's a cartoon. Okay. If you want a more realistic tank, there are other Blitzwings out there. KFC, X-Transbots, whatever, they're the same company. They have one, StarToys has ones, Pick the ones that you want. Most people get a couple of them just to have them in their different modes. You know, you can have them in robot mode. You can have, I think KFC has the better tank mode. I think StarToys has the better plane mode. To people, again, it's everyone's opinion. I still like this. This matches cartoon. Me like cartoon. So I like this. I like this dumb thing. This is dumb. It doesn't work, but I like it because come on down, Auto Brat, boom. And then he gets tipped over by an Insecticon and he's like that and he's dead. But no wheels. FansToys. No wheels. It doesn't go. No, this is just slides and it's dumb. I want wheels. So, for final thoughts for Blitzwing, I do like the robot mode. I think the robot mode does look really nice on a shelf. I have no issue with the way it looks. Yeah, the shoulder gap is kind of weird, but I mean, realistically, that's gonna have to happen. I've always had an issue with every version of Blitzwing that's come out with kind of this whole area. I think KFC is like, these like either move or don't move. I can't remember why I didn't like them, but I remember just not liking them. I remember Star Toys being kind of weird, but I was on the fence about it. I don't own any of the other versions because expensive toy, only one. That may change in the future, but as of right now, I do like this. I like the way it looks. I haven't decided if I want the cannon head or that. So I'll probably just stick with this. Jet mode. I like jet mode. I think it's part of, it's my favorite transformation out of it. I don't really have an issue with it. That's not true. I do have an issue with it. Why does the landing gear not fold up? Why do I have to transform the whole thing to pull up the landing? It's dumb. And speaking of wheels, tank mode. Why does tank mode not have wheels? Why? Like, it's just, I don't understand. Is it that hard, or like was it like not in the budget or something to just have wheels? Or like would it like have an issue with this, I guess? I don't know. But for the transformation in general to get to the other things, I wouldn't say it's hard. I wouldn't say it's difficult. I would say it's involved. But I also like that. I like difficult transformations. Difficult transformations are fun for me because masochism, I guess. Sure, we'll go with that. So for me, that's fun. I do like how everything is contained in the legs. I think that is so cool. As for like paint scratches, I haven't had any. And as you saw, I was handling it rough during the transformation. Like it was like so no paint scratches for me, except for the ones that I did because I was doing something and I did a dumb. That was my fault. This was not transformation fault, because how could it have been transformation fault? And honestly, you don't notice it. I guess you notice that one, but it'll be fine. It matches the cartoon model for me in all three modes, so I do like that. I'm one of those people where I like the cartoon. So for me, this hits. This hits all of the stuff that I want it to. It's enough range of movement. Yeah, the waist kind of sucks, but realistically, I only need about that much, so it's fine. I'm sure if I just undid the backpack and then redid it, I could get more. The ab crunch is a little loose for me, but it's not enough of a change for it to matter. But that's my biggest gripes. Realistically, is just I don't understand why there's just no wheels. I don't get it. But everything else works for me. That has been my look at FansToys Berserk, their version of Blitzwing. Honestly, it is. I do kind of like Astro Train more because it hits the autism button, but I do like his transformation maybe just a little bit more, just because it is a little bit more simpler than him. But I do like complicated transformations, so it's an He needed wheels. He needed proper folding landing gear. And there was another thing that I had about him, but I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, a football. He needed a football. Like, triple takeover. Come on, man. The episode is right there. It is also one of my personal favorite episodes. But anyways, that was my look at him. Like the video if you liked the video. Dislike it if you hated it or hate me or whatever. I have a bunch of Transformers that I can review. Most of them FansToys and X-Transbots. I'll go through them as I go through them. Do some suggestions. I think I have Bad Cube Sideswipe as well. I have a couple mainline stuff, not a lot. Just going down a list. So put some comments if I have that figure, I'll review it. If not, I'm just gonna pick some at random and do it that way. All right. Yeah, like and subscribe, and see everybody next time. All right, usually I cut this stuff out because no one wants to hear me eating, but these chips, fire. Especially the chicken and waffle ones. Not sponsored, but these chips are great. Go get them at Costco. The cartoon stupid, out of focus. Focus, hello? All right, well, my camera's dumb. I was transforming Starscream back, and his thumb broke. Thanks, Takara. Fucking assholes.